We will have the invocation by Ms. Griffin. We'll follow immediately with the pledge. Please stand.
Let us pray. Holy Father, we are so glad that you have allowed for us to come before you this evening. And we're asking that you would be with us as we make decisions to help and put in a position that you would be proud of. That is your people. And now we ask a special blessing upon each police juror and their family members, and that you would be with us, and that your grace and mercy will be with us as we try to take care of your business. And Father, we give you the thanks and the glory because of who you are. In the name of your Son, Jesus, amen.
Amen. Please face the flag, please. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, Madam Secretary.
Yes, sir. Mr. Engerpont?
Here.
Mr. Brame? Here. Mr. Collins?
Here.
Mr. Farnham?
Here.
Mrs. Griffin?
Present.
Mr. Hassan?
Here.
Mr. Landry?
Here.
Dr. Mackey?
Present.
Mr. McMillan?
Here.
Mr. Scott?
Here.
Mr. Spell?
Here.
Mr. Stelling?
Here.
Mr. Sias?
Present.
Mrs. Trimming? And President Gidget.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. We thank everyone for attending tonight's meeting. And if there's anyone here that has a pager or a cell phone, we would ask that you would please put that device to silence so that we can conduct our meeting. And if there's anyone that want to speak on any of the items that we have on the agenda tonight, there are some blue slips in the back of the room. We would ask that you would fill those out and either give those to Ms. Jessica or to Ms. Colleen so that we can make sure that we get you on the agenda. And with that said, we'll move on to item number 5. Take appropriate action on the application for liquor and beer permits. Mr. Vickers.
Mr. President, we have 2 applications before you tonight. We recommend that they both be approved.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Calvin and a second by Dr. Mackey. Is there any discussion? Any objection? Hearing none, item number 5 passes. Item number 6, consideration approval of payments on all current invoices. I have a motion by Mr. Scott and a second by Mr. Fordham. Is there any discussion? Any objection? Hearing none, item number 6 passes. Item number 7, consideration approval of the minutes of the regular meeting of the police jury dated February 4th, 2010. I have a motion by Ms. Griffin and a second by Mr. Collins. Is there any discussion? Any objection? Hearing none, item number 7 passes. Item number 8, consideration approval of the agenda committee report dated February 23rd, 2010. I have a motion by Mr. Fordham and a second by Mr. Landry. Is there any discussion? Any objection? Hearing none. Item number 8 passes. At this time, I would like to pull item number 35, please. Item number 35, consideration of adopting a resolution proclaiming Friday, March 19, 2010 as Family and Youth Day in Calcasieu Parish. Mr. Jason Barnes, please. Please state your name and position with the parish.
Jason Barnes, Special Programs Coordinator with the Calcasieu Parish Police Jury. I think everyone here on the jury here knows the wonderful things that Family and Youth Counseling Services do for Calcasieu Parish and all of Southwest Louisiana. I'd like to ask Mr. Julio Galan, who is the Executive Director of Family and Youth, to come up here real quick. It is their 40th anniversary of Family and Youth here in this area. And so I think Dr. Mackey has a proclamation to present to Julio. Julio?
I'm going to present this on behalf of our president. He only has one foot today. So,
Appreciate it, Dr.
and I was a past member, or past president of this organization, so I certainly know well how much it's done for our community. Whereas the Family and Youth Counseling Agency Incorporated was founded and established on March 19, 1970 in Lake Charles, Louisiana by the Junior League of Lake Charles, and whereas the Family and Youth believes that all individuals possess the ability to solve their own challenges and live full and healthy lives when support is available. And whereas the Family and Youth mission is to provide affordable and professional support through programs and services dedicated to advocacy, counseling, and education for the people of Southwest Louisiana. And whereas the Family and Youth effort and commitment to building family values will promote a stable and stronger community. And whereas the family and youth represent 40 years of community working together for the benefit of families, for children and families, and whereas I, Kevin Guidry, President of the Calcasieu Parish Police Jury, do hereby proclaim March the 19th, 2010 as Family and Youth Counseling Day. Throughout Calcasieu Parish, we encourage all citizens to observe this occasion and recognize the impact of the Family and Youth Counseling Agency Incorporated has made on our community by providing quality professional counseling, advocacy, and education service for individuals, children, and families. Thank you very much.
Members of the jury and all present here, I do want to thank you for your support over the years in providing vital support services to children and families in our community. We strongly believe that all families, children, and individuals have the capacity to solve their own challenges when the right support is available. And our job has and will continue to be that of providing support. Thanks to the leadership of Dr. Mackey and our former president of the board, Brian Beam, I do want to thank all of you for your continued support on behalf of children and families in our community. So thank you very much for your support.
Thank you, Mr. Gillon. Thank you, Dr. Mackey, for that. We'll move on to item. Did we get a motion and a second on that? I have a motion by Ms. Griffin and a second by Mr. Calvin. Is there any discussion? Any objection? Hearing none. Item number 35 passes. Item number 9, consideration approval of the wastewater committee report dated February 23rd, 2010. Mr. Andrew Point.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'll be very brief. There were 3 issues that were discussed at the last wastewater committee meeting. The first was from Richard Myers with Myers Associates concerning the draft of land development ordinance for wastewater. The committee recommended that somewhere around April the 15th he come back to the committee with a draft on some recommendations. The second one was by Mr. Claude Smart from engineering concerning possibility of possibly maybe carving out certain areas of the parish concerning wastewater. One was the south side Ward 3 unincorporated area, and the other one was Carlos. And the committee recommended that an evaluation be done and the feasibility of creating a parish-wide sewer utility district to manage sewer services in the unincorporated area of the parish. And the third was from Wes Crane from Planning and Development, discussing the mechanical treatment plant inspection, whether we should do it ourselves in-house, contract, or both. And he provided some numbers as what each one would cost. And if you have any questions, I'd be glad to answer them. Otherwise, that concludes my report.
Very well, Mr. Andrew Point. Is there any discussion?
Move to accept the report.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Farnham and a second by Mr. Scott. Is there any other discussion? Any objection? Hearing none. Item number 9 passes. Item number 10.
Move on to
Consideration
all
approval of the
bullets.
Public Works Committee report dated February 23rd, 2010. I have a motion by Mr. Ellis and a second by Mr. Landry. Is there any discussion? Any objection? Let me just go through those 5 bullets and read those into the record, if you would, please, Madam Secretary. Receive report from Jason Barnes with reference to anti-litter billboard that was created by the employees from Public Works West Maintenance Facility. 10.2, recommend that a resolution be adopted authorizing the submittal of a municipal separate storm sewer system. Item 10.3, recommend that a resolution be adopted approving a proposal for engineering services between Police Jury and Lincoln Engineer, the Mosswood Drive and Dave Dugas Road Bridge replacement. Bullet number 10.4, recommend that a resolution be adopted authorizing the President of the Police Jury to execute the necessary documents to donate of right-of-way from West Calcasieu Parish Community Center Authority. Bullet 10.5, recommend that a resolution be adopted requesting the bridge located at Miller Avenue be added to the Federal System of Systems Bridge Replacement and Rehabilitation Program. I have a motion by Mr. Ellis and a second by Mr. Landry. Is there any discussion?
Just one thing, Mr. President.
Ms. Trimming.
In that also report, just to make it in the record, is report number on the last bullet that North Perkins Street, City of DeQuincy, also is in the federal off-road system. Those
Yes,
two
ma'am.
roads. I just wanted to put it in the record. Thanks.
Very good, Ms. Trimming. Is there any other discussion? Any objection? Hearing none. Item number 10, and all bullets pass. Item number 11, receive report from administrative staff with reference to recent sales tax trends and effect on the fiscal year 2010 parish budget. I have a motion by Mr. Landry and a second by Mr. Stelly.
Receive report, or no?
Receive report.
I think we need to call on Brian.
Yes, Mr. Beam, would you mind, please, comment on that, sir?
Thank
Mr.
you,
Beam.
Mr. President. We've known for a while now that the national economic situation has started to hit Louisiana and southwest Louisiana. So we wanted to keep you abreast of how it's actually affecting us here at the parish. In our case, it's primarily on sales tax revenues, which I'll go ahead and ask Tom to throw up a slide. We have a couple of slides for you. We have two sales taxes here, as you know. Most of the sales taxes are paid by industry. These are unincorporated areas. The first one, which you'll see on your screen, and you also have both of these in the back of your binder, will show you the trends. And it, just to kind of quickly go through this, the first one here is the 1-cent sales tax. This is collected in all unincorporated areas. 2/3 of it goes to Public Works operating, 1/3 Public Works capital. We told you back at the budget presentation in November we had been experiencing some lower numbers. If you look at the chart, the yellow bars would be the 2008 actual results for sales taxes for that one. The blue represents 2009, and if you look right around April of 2009, we started seeing some pretty big decreases. And if you look at the rest of the blue bars, the rest of the year for 2009, other than July, it's pretty steadily downward. July was sort of an anomaly. There was a pipeline company settlement that helped us there, but otherwise it would have been low just like the others. So we've seen this trend now going back to about April. As we got toward the end of the year, unfortunately, the trend downward continues, and the striking thing on the chart is the two first months of this year, January and February, which are in red, 2010. You can see they're down a good deal. Take year to date, just those 2 months, it's about 44% down from the first 2 months of 2009. So it is pretty substantial. Tom, go ahead and go to the next slide. This looks very familiar, but just to cover both taxes, this is the 1 1/4 cent levy that you have. It is levied in wards 2 through 8, and it is strictly Public Works capital, all hard surfacing of roads. This is the tax that is actually on the ballot for May 1st for the voters to decide on. And you can see it's very similar, but it is a different tax. So 2 1/4 is the total. If you were to take the trend that we see now for the first 2 months of the year, budgetarily wise, it gets kind of scary, but we would end up about $8.5 million short of what we budgeted in 2010. We're hopeful this is not the trend. In 2 months, certainly you don't want to overreact, but we do want to keep tabs on this. We want you to be aware of it. We did budget less this year, about 10% less for these sales taxes. We didn't anticipate this big a decrease, but we did anticipate some. So there's two main points we want to make. One, we've definitely been affected by the revenue downturns. So that's the bad news. The good news is we're prepared, and that's really the message we want to convey. The practices we've had really over the past couple of decades, through approval by you of policies and following of the staff of sound financial management practices, we've got some fund balances that can absorb this for some period. The key is we have to watch it very closely. And what we wanted to do, I wanted to ask Claude to just kind of summarize some of the processes we go through, looking at the operational side and capital, depending on how this goes, we have to take more drastic measures. Again, we're in pretty good shape right now, but it's a lot less than what we budgeted. And I would just ask Claude to take a minute or two to cover some of the things that they look at, allow y'all to ask any questions, and try to fill in a few blanks. But that's where we are as of the end of February.
On the capital improvement side, the road overlays and the new roads, we started a policy a long time ago where the monies we collect in '09, like we spend in 2010. So we're not reliant on the monies we're collecting in 2010 for our road program this year. So we will have no effect this year in our overlays and our new roads and stuff. And we did that for several reasons. Number one, so we'd have a steady funding source. We didn't have to wait for it to come in before we spent it. We could kind of get our plans together at the beginning of the year and let our work out and let the contractors go to work through the year instead of waiting until they come in and then bid it. We also did it because sometimes you have unexpected expenses like a bridge go out or storm and other things. And you know, if it kept up for a period of couple of 3 years, then we would start hurting because our roads would couldn't be overlaid at a timely basis. But you know, and the road program would be okay for at least a couple of years. And the operational side is a little different. Public Works has enough reserve to, you know, handle this year. We won't lay anybody off, but if this trend keeps up to, say, July, when the July numbers come in around the 1st of August, then we'll start looking at it closed in, trying to make plans for 2011. And our preference is to cut out a service instead of cut them all. You know, instead of doing them all down to a level of mediocrity, our preference is to cut one out and try to do the rest of them well. And what we would do at that time would be is not to hire people, start moving people around out of the crew we was going to cut out and start preparing for the remainder of the 2010 operational cycle like we would plan on doing in 2011. And we've seen these cycles before, and you know, some of us have been here when we didn't have anything, so we know how to get by, and it's going to be all right. I think they're going to come back up. You know, right after Rita and Katrina, our road prices went up 250%. Put a big jolt in us there for a while, but we were able to. It hurt us seriously for a while, but after a while, we was able to catch back up and get it going. So I don't look for it to last for long enough to hurt us bad, and I think we're going to be in good shape, but we'll probably make a determination around August.
Ms. Trimmy.
Brian, I mean, I know that we're going to be fine, but I just want to clarify the election for May 1st is not only for the overlay of the roads that we blacktopped originally that were gravel to keep maintaining those roads, but it's also to continue a garbage service in the unincorporated area for the unincorporated area of Calcasieu Parish. And so it's a very important tax to keep maintaining, because we don't want our roads to go back like they were before to gravel if we're not able to maintain them, and also to be able to continue the garbage service that goes to each about 30,000 homes in Calcasieu Parish. I just wanted to make that a point. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Trimmy. Is there any other discussion? I have a motion by Mr. Landry and a second by Mr. Stelly. Is there any other discussion? Any objection? Hearing none, item number 11 passes. Item number 12, consideration of adopting a resolution approval of a cooperative endeavor agreement between the police jury and the Arts and Humanity Council of Southwest Louisiana for the purpose of administrating the Cultural Grants Program in Calcasieu Parish. I have a motion by Mr. McMillan. I have a second by Mr. Stelly. Is there any discussion? Any objection? Hearing none, item number 12 passes. Item number 13, consideration of adopting a
Move on
ordinance
13.
rescinding ordinance number 5713 and ordinance number 5765, which allows Ms. Novella Franklin to purchase the following described property, 1600 block of Blendon Street. The agenda note states that Ms. Novella Franklin failed to fulfill the necessary requirements in order to complete the sale. It is the recommendation of the Director of the Division of Planning and Development to re-advise the sales of the above-mentioned property. I have a motion by Mr. Landry and a second by Ms. Griffin. Is there any discussion?
Yeah, the motion was to re-advertise.
Re-advertise, I'm
Mr.
sorry,
McMillan,
Mr. Landry.
yes. No, that's okay. I was just clarifying that for Mr.
Yeah,
McMillan. He seemed to be confused.
Yeah, sorry about that, Mr. McMillan, but we got that cleared up now. To re-advertise for sales for the above-mentioned property. Any other discussion? Any objection? Hearing none. Item number 13 passes. Item number 14, consideration of amending ordinance with reference to the following adjudicated properties to extend the
14,
deadline
all
for
bullets.
completion of sales of said property. Those two bullets, will that be on both bullets, Mr. Andrew Point?
Yes, sir.
I have a motion by Mr. Andrew Point and a second by Mr. Landry. Let me just read those two bullets into the record, please. Amend ordinance number 5722 and ordinance number 5590. And agenda note states that Mr. Patrick Holmes has been unable to complete the necessary requirements in the designated time period. It is the recommendation of the Director of the Division of Planning and Development to extend the deadline for the completion of the sales of the above described property until May 31st, 2010. 14.2, amend ordinance number 5705 for property at 100 block of Sylvia Street, lot in Ward 3. The agenda note states that Mr. David Segal has paid all fees and closing costs in full. He needs additional time to complete the paperwork portion of the sales. It is the recommendation of the Director of the Division of Planning and Development to extend the deadline for the completion of sales of the above described property until May 31st, 2010. Is there any discussion? Any objection? Hearing none. Number 14 passes. Item number 15, consideration and
Move on
approval of the
15,
following
all
request
bullets.
of the Office of Juvenile Justice Service. Thank you. Would that be on all three bullets, Dr. Mackey?
All bullets.
I have a motion by Dr. Mackey and a second by Mr. Landry. Let me just read those bullets into the minutes, please. Adopt a resolution authorizing the Office of Juvenile Justice Service to submit a grant application in the amount up to $500,000 and revisions thereafter to the National Office of Drug Control Policy to strengthen collaboration of support of the Project No Coalition. Bullet 15.2, adopt a resolution authorizing the Office of Juvenile Justice Service to submit a grant application and any revisions thereafter to the Louisiana Highway Safety Commission to strengthen support of Project No. Bullet number 15.3, adopt a resolution authorizing the Office of Juvenile Justice Service to enter into a joint service agreement with Calcasieu Parish District Attorney's Office for service to implement Calcasieu Parish strategic plan to reduce underage drinking. I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Any objection? Hearing none. Number 15 and all bullets passed. Item number 16, consideration of adopting a resolution of support of a grant application by the Calcasieu Parish Library
Move.
System for
Second.
American Recovery and Reinvestment Act funds to expand public computing through the Broadband Technology Opportunity Program of the U.S. Department of Commerce, National Telecommunication and Information Administration. I have a motion by Mr. Andrew Point and a second by Mr. Stelly. Is there any discussion? Ms. Griffin.
Thank you, sir. I have a couple of questions that I would like to ask someone. Mr. President,
I'm Loretta Garst. I'm the person writing the grant. Can you hear me now? Yeah, I'm Loretta Garst. I'm the person writing the grant, and I'm the head of computing and collections over there.
okay. Is that what you do? Just write grants, or?
Oh, no, ma'am. No, ma'am. I've been with the library 20 years, and I've been in charge of all the computers and the collections of books and materials.
So when you're going to expand the public computing, what does that mean? as stated here on the agenda, through the broadband technology opportunity. Tell me, what are you going to expand, and where will you do the expansion?
Okay, all right, good. Basically, what we want to do is upgrade the infrastructure to gigabit, and we want to add computers at all the libraries, additional computers. We're going from 116 to 176 with this grant.
And so when you expand your public computing through broadband, that means all of the 160 computers will have this new technology on it?
Yes, ma'am. That's what we want. We need a fast network so that people can go out and use the public computers, because right now, you know, a lot of government agencies are moving to e-government, you know, and the green government concept. Right. And people come in to make their applications online. And if you are lower income, then you really often don't have internet access. So this expands internet access for people.
And how much is the grant that you're applying for?
$771,000.
$771,000 that will be earmarked specifically for this.
Yes, ma'am.
That's very exciting.
Yeah. Yes, we think it'll be.
Is this a part of the stimulus?
Yes, ma'am, it is. Yes, it is.
When I see things like this come up, it would make me feel better, and be a lot of knowledge for the public if they would know that it is a part of the stimulus money, because a lot of money is coming through, and that word is never mentioned. I am so pleased for Calcasieu Parish, and I do hope you get the grant, and if you get it, please keep us informed. I appreciate that, Mr. President. Thank you.
Is there any other discussion by the jurors? Any other objection? Hearing none. Item number 16 passes. Item number 17.
Move.
Take appropriate action on the expiration of the term of Mr. Robert Dodgeville as a member of the Board of Commissioners of the Calcasieu Parish Communication District.
Second.
The agenda note. The agenda committee recommends that Mr. Dodgeville be reappointed. I have a motion by Dr. Mackey and a second by Mr. Fordham. Is there any discussion? Any objection? Hearing none. Item number 17 passes. Item number 18.
Move.
Take appropriate action on the expiration of the term of Mr. Rodney Phelps as a member of the Board of Commissioners of the Calcasieu Parish Communication District.
Second.
The agenda committee recommends that Mr. Phelps be reappointed. I have a motion by Dr. Mackey and a second by Mr. Hassan. Is there any discussion? Any objection? Hearing none. Item number 18
Move.
passes.
No,
Item number 19. Take
move.
appropriate action on the expiration of the term of Mr. Kenneth Jerry Merchant as a member of the Board of Commissioners of the Calcasieu Parish Communication District. The agenda committee recommends that Mr. Merchant be reappointed. I have a motion by Dr. Mackey and a second by Mr. Hassan. Is there any discussion? Any objection? Hearing none. Item number 19 passes. Item number 20.
Move on
Take
20.
appropriate action on the expiration of the term of Mr. Donald Stinson as a member of the Board of Commissioners of the Gravity Drainage District Number 2 of Ward 7. The agenda committee recommends that Mr. Stinson be reappointed. I have a motion by Mr. Hassan and a second by Mr. Brame. Is there any discussion? Any objection? Hearing none. Item number 20 passes. Item number 21. Take appropriate action on the
Move on
expiration of the
21.
term of Mr. Harry O'Quinn as a member of the Board of Commissioners of the Gravity Drainage District Number 2 of Ward 7. The agenda committee recommends that Mr. O'Quinn be reappointed. I have a motion by Mr. Hassan and a second by Mr. Landry. Is there any discussion? Any objection? Hearing none. Item number 21 passes. Item number 22. Take
Move on
appropriate action on
22.
the expiration of the term of Mr. Freddie Carrier as a member of the Board of Commissioners of the Gravity Drainage District Number 2 of Ward 7. The agenda committee recommends that Mr. Carrier be reappointed. I have a motion by Mr. Hassan and a second by Mr. Brame. Is there any discussion? Any objection? Hearing none. Item number 22 passes. Item number 23.
Move on
Take appropriate
23.
action on the expiration of the term of Mr. Dale Hernandez as a member of the Board of Commissioners of Ward 4 Fire Protection District Number 2. The agenda committee recommends that Mr. Hernandez be reappointed. I have a motion by Mr. Hassan and a second by Mr. Landry. Is there any discussion? Any objection? Hearing none. Item number 23 passes. Item number 24. Take appropriate action on the expiration of the term of Mr. John Charles
Move on
Guidry as a
24.
member of the Board of Commissioners
Second.
of Ward 4 Fire Protection District Number 2. The agenda committee recommends that Mr. Guidry be reappointed. I have a motion by Mr. Fordham and a second by Mr. Hassan. Is there any discussion? Any objection? Hearing none, item number 24 passes. Item number 25, take appropriate action on the vacancy of the Board of Commissioners of Gravity Drainage District Number 5 of Ward 4, which occurs as a result of the death of Mr. Harvey Boyd. The Agenda Committee...
I would move that Mr. James Perry be appointed to replace Mr.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Andrew Point. Mr. Andrew Point recommends that Mr. James Perry be appointed to that position. I have a motion by Mr. Andrew Point and a second by Ms. Griffin. Is there any discussion? Any objection? Hearing none, item number 25 passes. Item number 26, take appropriate action to appoint a representative of the Human Service District, also known as the Mental Health District, for Region 5 area of the Louisiana Department of Health and Hospitals, which was created by the virtue of Act 373. The Agenda Committee recommends that Ms. Sandra Gay be appointed. I have a motion by Dr. Mackey and a second by Ms. Griffin. Is there any discussion? Any objection? Hearing none, item number 26 passes. Item number 27, take appropriate action to recommend to the governor a representative to the Human Service District, also known as a Mental Health District, for Region 5 of the Louisiana Department of Health and Hospitals. The Agenda Committee recommend that Mr. Ronnie Johns, Mr. David Pele Jr., and Mr. Chris Stewart be nominated. Are we going to make a appointment to that, or is that the governor?
This goes
will make
to the
that?
governor.
Okay, then. All right, then. I have a motion by Ms. Griffin and a second by Dr. Mackey. Is there any discussion? Any objection? Hearing none, item number 27 passes. Item number 28, take appropriate actions on bids received by the parish purchasing agent on February 10, 2010 for the purchase and installation of a district-wide security camera system for the use by the Calcasieu Parish Library. The agenda note states that the library board staff recommend that all bids be rejected due to all bids being over the budget amount, and further request permission to re-advertise. I have a motion by Dr. Mackey and a second by Mr. Fordham. Is there any discussion? Any objection? Ms. Griffin. Sorry.
Thank you, Mr. President.
I didn't catch you, Ms. Griffin.
That's perfectly okay. I am kind of in quest as to why would a bid go through and it was over budget. Why did we even bid and it let it go through if we didn't have if the funds were not available? Just kind of.
The funds are available, but the bids, when they let the bids out, the bids came in over the budgeted amount. We don't know until we bid it what kind of numbers the vendors are going to put on there. So the money that was available, but the bidders were prouder of their service than what we anticipated they would be, I guess would be, or what the library system anticipated they would be.
Okay, so let me get this straight. So when the bid was taken out, the money was there, but now it's over the budget, that the money that was originally proposed. That's what I'm trying to understand. I've never seen this before. So,
yeah, I guess the answer to that is yes. I mean, the money was budgeted for the item, anticipating it would cost X amount of dollars. And when the bids went out and vendors filled out the bid documents and submitted them, they were over that amount of money.
Oh, so the bids went out before the amount of money was on the bid? I'm kind of confused. I suppose over the budget amount. I'm sorry. No, I'm not sorry. But
I'm
if
sure it's
you're
my fault
not
for not explaining it
understanding
correctly.
what I'm saying, let me try to rephrase that. I've never seen a bid that had to be rejected because all the bids being over the budget amount. So my question is, if we had a bid and the bid was, well, it couldn't have been.
Let me get.
Let's do it again.
Let me try something different. We'll put, if you look at item number 33, you've got an item that authorized us to advertise for bids for a road project. So what's going to happen is once you approve that, we're going to put an advertisement in the paper, and we're going to run an advertisement asking people, companies to bid on that job. Now, for that particular job, Claude's got an idea. He's got an estimate of what he thinks that job is going to cost. Well, we advertise for 30 days. We take bids in. If those bidders bid an amount that's over what has been estimated that to cost, then one of two things has to happen. Either we got to go find extra money to supplement what we had in the budget to award the bid, or we've got to throw the bids out and go back to the drawing board.
Does this
That's what
happen
happened
often? It's new to me,
Not-
something,
not-
and I know I haven't
not
been
often.
sleeping up here.
No, not often. I mean, there have been a few cases where we've had to throw bids out because they came over. Most of the time, the estimates are pretty sound, and they're within a very small amount. If the bid comes in a little bit higher than that, if it's a small amount, we have the ability to go ahead and amend the budget or to provide money from another source to be able to do it. In this case, it was significantly over. And so we got to go back and I think and rethink what it is we're actually going to do and how. I say we, this is the library system's
Correct.
bid, but they're going to have to kind of go back and maybe rethink how many of the cameras or whatever they're buying there, the security system is rethink the way they design that.
I understand. When I saw your eyes rolling back and forth like that, I was wondering what was going on. But now it makes sense to me, and I'm sure somebody else had the same question if I did. I appreciate that. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you, Ms.
President.
Griffin. Is there any other discussion? Mr. Scott?
Mr. McMurray, was that 25%? I mean, I'm not looking for an exact number. Was it 25%, 30%, when you say?
Is it in here,
Jeff?
Caroline? It's not.
No.
Way out there. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Scott. Is there any other discussion? Any objection? Item number 28 passes. Item number 29, take appropriate actions on bids received by the parish purchasing agent on February 23rd, 2010 for 4 2010 one-half-ton pickup trucks for the use by the Department of Engineering and Public Works and the Mosquito Control Department. I have a motion by Mr. Andrepont and a second by Ms. Griffin. Is there any discussion? Any objection? Hearing none, item number 29 passes. Item number 30, take appropriate action on bids received by the parish purchasing agent on February 23rd, 2010 for Curacao Bridge lumber
30.
and unit price effective from March 5th, 2010 until July 31st, 2010. I have a motion by Mr. Fordham and a second by Mr. McMillan. Is there any discussion? Any objection? Hearing none, item number 30 passes. Item number 31, take appropriate actions on bids received by the parish purchasing agent on February 24, 2010 for the Prairie Lake Park improvements, Phase 1D, storage building, dumpster enclosures, and drinking fountains. There were 4 bids that were turned in. Those 4 bids were by John D. Myers and Associates and Pat Williams, Reeves Development, and Sam East Construction. The agenda note states that the staff and the project architect recommends that the low bid in the amount of $180,300 Sam East Construction be accepted. I have a motion by Mr. Brame and a second by Mr. Collins. Is there any discussion? Any objection? Hearing none, item number 31 passes. Item number 32, take appropriate actions on bids received by the parish purchasing agent on February 24th, 2010 for the Calcasieu Parish Project number 2010-03, which is overlaying and new construction of various roads in Calcasieu Parish. There were 3 bids that were turned in. Those 3 bids were R.E. Height Construction, excuse me, Prairie Construction, Bassett Development. The agenda note states that the parish engineer recommends that the low bid in the amount of $1,987,803.81 of R.E. Height Construction be accepted. I have a motion by Mr. Brame and a second by Mr. Spell. Is there any discussion? Any objection? Hearing none, item number 32 passes. Item number 33, consideration of authorizing the parish administrator to advertise for bids
Second.
for Calcasieu Parish Project number 2010-16, which is striping of various roads in Calcasieu Parish. I have a motion by Mr. Collins and a second by Mr. Scott. Is there any discussion? Any objection? Hearing none, item number 33 passes. Item number 34, consideration of authorizing the parish purchasing agent to advertise for bids for ready-mix concrete, crushed stone, hot mix, sewer pump complete with fiberglass tank, collection sewer pipe with fittings, distribution pipe and fittings. I have a motion by Mr. Spell, and I have a second by Ms. Griffin. Is there any discussion? Any objection? Hearing none. Item number 34 passes. We've already taken up item number 35. We will move on from that one to item number 36. Consideration of adopting a resolution of condolences to the family of Mr. Harvey Boyd, former member of the Board of Commissioners of Gravity Drainage District Number 5 of Ward 4.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Andrew Point and a second by Ms. Trimmy. Any discussion? Any objection? Hearing none, item number 36 passes. At this time, I would like to call on Mr. Jason Barnes, please. State your name and position with the parish.
Jason Barnes, Special Programs Coordinator. Just a couple minutes real quick to tell you about the latest that's taking place with the 2010 census. The 2010 census is about to become in full swing over the next 2 to 3 weeks in March throughout Calcasieu Parish. In the next 3 weeks, you're going to be receiving cards, and so will your constituents. And Danielle Edwards, who is our primary person with the census here in Calcasieu Parish, dropped these discs off for all elected officials this afternoon. We wanted to get these in your hands because March 5th is really one of the big days and the beginning of the big census week that we're trying to get the word out to all of our community to make sure they fill out the forms. I'm sure you all are aware of the importance of the census and what an impact it has on the community. So I just ask that you take a look at this video and help us out in any way we can. So, thank you.
Okay. Is there any discussion for Mr. Jason? By the jurors. Mr. Spell? Thank you, Mr. Jason. We appreciate it. At this time, we will take up our two-thirds items. Please review the items printed below for consideration. The chair will entertain a motion to suspend the rules to allow these items to be added to the agenda. I have a motion and a second. Is there anyone in the audience or from the public that would like to comment on these items at this time? Is there anyone from the public? Or is there anyone of the jurors that would like to comment on this item? If none, I call for a vote to the motion to suspend the rules to allow these items to be added to the agenda.
Move. Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed by nay. Item passed unanimously. For item number 1, consideration of adopting a resolution requesting the Calcasieu Congressional Delegation to intervene on behalf of the parish with reference to the possible utilization of the I-10 westbound ramp.
Suspend and
Exit
adopt.
20. Motion passed unanimously. This time we'll take up item number 2. The chair will entertain a motion to suspend the rules to allow these items to be added to the agenda.
Move.
I have a motion
Second.
and a second. At this time, is there anyone from the public that would like to comment on this item? Is there anyone from the public that would like to comment on this item? Is there any of the jurors? Okay. Item number 2, consideration of adopting a resolution authorizing advertising of oil and gas and mineral lease on certain tracts of land. If none, I call for a vote on the motion to suspend the rules to allow this item to be added to the agenda.
Move to suspend and adopt.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye. All opposed by saying no, nay. Motion passed unanimously to consider of adopting a resolution authorizing advertising of an oil and gas and mineral lease of certain tracts of land to be added to the agenda.
Okay.
All right, at this time.
Move we adjourn?
No, I have a few more
Oh, excuse me.
items, no. No, it's done. At this time, is there any other items that we'd like to take up? If not, I have a couple point of personal privileges I would like to go to at this time. Ms. Trimmy.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just want to thank the jury all 14 of y'all that supported me, just held me up, and we had a fabulous Louisiana Police Jury Convention here in Lake Charles, and for each one of y'all that were there for me. And then for the surprise that Kevin and all of y'all, Les, happened. I've never had pink roses before. I just want to let y'all know that, and they were gorgeous.
Deserved it, Ms. Trimming.
And for the generosity also from you, and from each one of you from the bottom of my heart. I want to thank our staff for working so diligent and so hard on this convention that was here in Calcasieu Parish. I can't name everybody, but I mean, Mark was my main speaker in his talk. If you weren't there, you really missed it. It was awesome. For Kathy taking care of me, for Colleen taking care of me. Kathy and Carolyn would deliver me to the room at night so that they would make sure I got there safe. Since Butch couldn't be there and I was by myself. So I just wanted to let each one of y'all know. Brian, thank you for being at all of the meetings that I was involved in, and Elizabeth for your help in the prayer for the meeting. And also I thank Randy Vincent's back there. He did the prayer for our luncheon. And for all of those that were involved, I don't want to I'm not going to be a Sandy, but just want to say I love you and thank you, thank you, thank you.
Question we had is who delivered Kathy and Carolyn.
This time I call on Mr. Andrew Point.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to follow up a little bit of what Sandy said. As a member of the State Executive Board, I can tell you that I would be less than remiss if I did not convey to you tonight and staff the high marks and the comments that was nothing but positive at the convention. I don't know how many of you know this, but over 1,000 jurors throughout the state registered for this convention. There was no negatives about it whatsoever, and I too want to commend the staff for such a great job and tireless job. I know you got tired, but it didn't show, put it that way. And Sandy and I rode together to a lot of meetings during this past year during her tenure. I want to say thank you for being who you were and for leading this state in the utmost matter. Sandy, you did an excellent job, and it's a pleasure to work with you in that capacity, and looking forward to working with you again.
Thank you, love. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Trimming.
I did leave two people that were very important out. One is the Southwest Convention and Visitors Bureau, and their staff, especially Tico, that worked for 2 years helping put this together. And also for Norman Farr with the SPAR that helped us put on our Calcasieu event where we were the host parish party, and I think everybody really passed a good time there. So for everyone and for all of these, I didn't want to repeat anything, but I was passed a note by Colleen. When I get a note, I know that I missed something. So I just wanted to put that in. And thank you, Francis, for being my chauffeur, you and Barbara. We have a good time. And he does have one of those GPSs, and Barbara knows how to work it. So we get there. So thank you all. God bless.
Thank you, Ms. Trimming.
Some of us were just kind of wondering if Kathy and Carolyn delivered you to your room. Who delivered Kathy and Carolyn?
They had to get back on their own because basically they made sure I got in bed. I mean, they literally took care of me to the end.
At this time, I call on Mr. Landry.
Thank you, Mr. President. I was just going to tell Sandy I'm real proud of you for your accomplishment, and that's really, I mean, that's a big deal. It really is to become president of the Louisiana Police Jury Association, and I'm real proud, as I know we all are. And congratulations, you did a great job, and you represented the parish very well.
God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Landry. And I just want to add a few closing comments on Ms. Trimming. You represented us well, and all the people that I've talked to throughout the whole state, Tremy, is just that you've got a knack for just being genuine in a lot of things that you do, and a lot of times people won't come out and actually say those things, but every comment that I think that I've heard about you for the entire weekend, that weekend was totally genuine, Ms. Tremy, and we loved in giving you those flowers. I mean, it was something that we wish we could have did a long time ago for you, Ms. Tremy. But again, we thank you. We thank you and we love you for all that you've done, not only for the state, but for Calcasieu Parish, Ms. Tremy. Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin. Thank you very much.
At this time, if there's no other comments, I would ask
Move to
for a
adjourn.
motion
Move.
to adjourn. I have a motion by Dr. Mackey and a second by Mr. Landry. We've now been adjourned.